Tatooine's sparsely populated. If the trace was correct, I will find them quickly, Master.
Move against the Jedi first. You will then have no difficulty in taking the Queen to Naboo to sign the treaty.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
You have been well trained, my young apprentice. They will be no match for you.
Oh, greetings, Bucketheads. Mavar Tigar. Welcome to another exciting installment of Bantha Tracks here on Mandovision. Nargai Tom, and thank you so much for checking out this small, independent Star Wars podcast. Remember, the best way to reach out to us is via social media at Mando_Vision on Twitter and Instagram. We do have an email page. If those character limitations or those apps just don't work for you, hit us up on the email mandovisiontom@gmail.com. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this show with all the other Mandalorians in your covert, and if possible or so inclined, and you're listening on Apple Podcast, give us those sweet 5-star reviews. They really go a long way to helping small independent shows like us stand out and not get lost in the unrelenting seas of podcasts that are out there. There's a lot of great podcasts. We consider ourselves a pretty darn good one, and we want to make sure we're getting into as many ears as possible. So we thank you for your help and your support in that mission. Remember, we are part of the 3BZ network of podcasts. Head over to 3BZ.com. You will find links to all the shows on the network. That includes Beer Night in San Diego, the Tomcast Popcast, our pop culture-centric podcast, and of course, this fine show that you're listening to right now, Mandovision. And in case you couldn't tell, we are focused with laser beam precision on Star Wars and The Mandalorian in particular. You can also check out some merchandise we have over there, too, if you're interested in supporting the show by picking up a shirt or a sweatshirt or stickers or any of that good stuff. Remember, it's a fun time, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun, and that's what we're going to do today. Bantha Tracks episode coming your way. It's been a little bit since we've done a Bantha Tracks episode. I'm kind of keyed up. We got some news to get into. I got some other stuff to talk about as well, and it's just this will be a nice little midweek bonus content, basically. If you're listening to the Clone War recap episodes, this is gonna be like a nice little sorbet to cleanse the palate with, as we give you some Star Wars news, some updates on some stuff, and I generally just kind of I got a little mini story to share with everyone, and that's gonna be the show. Gonna be a nice short and sweet episode. But hey, Bantha Tracks are here for that very very good reason of just cutting to the chase and having some fun. Without having to be critical, providing that critical analysis like we do on the Mandalorian reviews and the Clone Wars reviews. So we're going to have some fun today, all right? But before we can have that fun, you'll have to do something very, very important. It's the key element to the show. I mean, I honestly don't know why we're bothering taking off our buckets. But in case you have yours off, it's time. Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
Your thoughts dwell on your mother.
I miss her.
Afraid to lose her, I think.
What has that got to do with anything?
Everything. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I sense much fear in you.
Hey, all right. So you may have noticed we've been opening the episode. We joined the segments together with clips from episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace. And there's a reason why we did that. Is because over this past weekend was probably the first time in a really long time that I sat down with the intention to watch the prequels from start to finish, all the way through. And that's not to say that that's not that I haven't seen them since they came out, or since it's been a million years since I watched them. But oftentimes I catch myself watching them when I'm flipping channels and I come across it on TBS or TNT or some channel where there's 400 commercial interruptions, and I just kind of watch it from whatever point it's on. But it's been a long time since I have watched it from start to finish, and so I did that over the weekend. I watched episodes 1 and 2. And the intention is to watch episode 3 sometime probably before next weekend. and sort of reconnect with that material, reconnect with that era of the Star Wars franchise and of the saga, because it is such an important piece of the mythology of the lore. And I speak to you as one of the older fans now. I grew up with episodes 4, 5, and 6. That was my Star Wars initiation. That was the trilogy that I grew up with. And like a lot of fans in their 20s, when the Phantom Menace came out, a lot of people were disappointed with what they got. A lot of people were unhappy with the story that was presented to them, the origins of Anakin Skywalker, the origins of Darth Vader. And for a long time, I was like this staunch defender of the prequels, and I took a lot of grief for it. Mostly because I did do my best to try and defend and show what Lucas was trying to put out there and why he was making the choices he was making, and trying to get people to understand. And it never worked out. It never went my way. And that's okay. It's people's opinions. It's and that was sort of like the beginning of me noticing fandom becoming a bit more jaded as we were growing older, as things were challenging our perceptions of what we knew. Now, I don't want to say that there weren't moments in the prequels that I bump up against and that I have problems with. I most certainly do. I'm still not crazy about midichlorians. In Attack of the Clones, I have problems with Anakin's rather semi-forceful way of trying to share his feelings with Padme, and getting her to reciprocate those feelings back to him. A lot of that kind of doesn't play right for me. Doesn't play well. I obviously I have some issues with some scripting stuff, but by and large, I've always been a defender of the prequels. And so it was really nice to sit down and watch these again, and I've sort of have reached this place where I don't worry so much anymore about having to be the defender of the prequels anymore, because as I've been doing the Mandovision podcast, as I've kind of become a member of the Star Wars Twitter community, and participated more in that online discussion about the series, and engaged with other fans of other ages from other parts of the world, and kind of gotten to know their experience with the trilogy, whether it was someone from my age group who grew up with 4, 5, and 6, but they grew up with it in a different part of the world, or most importantly, in relation to the prequel conversation, talking to younger fans, people younger than me, people in their 20s and their late teens, who grew up with these movies as their gateway into Star Wars, and seeing the unbridled passion that they have for Star Wars because of The Phantom Menace, because of Attack of the Clones, because of Revenge of the Sith. And that was one of those things when I sort of realized that I've reached that age, and the younger generation, the one coming up behind me, and the generation behind them even, are going to keep this going, and they've kind of sort of taken on the role that I had of the staunch defender, and they love this stuff. Like, they don't have the problems that I have. They love it for everything about it, and something about that just kind of like warmed my heart over the weekend as I was sitting there watching episodes 1 and 2, because I did just sit there and I just took them in for everything that they were, and I enjoyed them on a level that I haven't been able to love them on in a little while, because of the browbeating I sort of got as this defender of the prequels, of what some fans consider to be a lesser Star Wars trilogy, and no, it was a really nice time. I can offer some critiques of episodes 1 and 2, and maybe we'll get to an episode where we do that. But why? Why? Let's just enjoy the Star Wars that we got, the Star Wars that is, and the Star Wars that will be. I say that with a giant asterisk because some of you know my thoughts on Rise of Skywalker. Some of you know my thoughts about the sequel trilogy, and that'll be something to talk about later on. I do have more of a critical eye towards those, but I still am excited that they're Star Wars movies. I maybe that they don't all work for me right now, but I'm still so excited that Star Wars movies are coming out, that we're still getting so much great Star Wars content, and I'll never not be excited for more Star Wars stuff. So bring it on. Bring on more Disney Plus shows. Whatever the next film is going to be, apparently looks like Rogue Squadron is coming to the big screen next. I can't wait for all of it. And again, it was just so much fun reconnect with these movies, and I really look forward to watching Revenge of the Sith very, very soon. And it's actually been really fun to go back and watch them because we are doing our reviews of Attack of the Clone, or geez Louise, of the Clone Wars. It was kind of nice to go back and see how we got there, and that was always interesting. So that being said, I do want to mention real quick. I mean, we do on this show we do offer reviews, and we are here for critical commentary. But just want to put that reminder out there that when I'm offering criticism, when I'm offering my opinion, it is just that. It is my opinion. It is my personal criticism, and it's not done to attack, and it's not done to devalue anyone else's opinion on anything in Star Wars. I love Star Wars. You love Star Wars. We're all here for Star Wars, and it's fun to offer it's fun to have a good conversation about it and still know that we're coming from the same place of love, because I'm not trying to tear it down. You're not trying to tear it down. Let's just have a fun conversation, and that's what we want to do here on the podcast. You know, if there are certain aspects of the films that you don't like, let's talk about them together. You know, one of the things I try to do on all the podcasts that I'm on is I like to recreate that feel that I had when I was a teenager, and I would go to the comic book store on Wednesday nights, and we would just hang out and we would discuss everything, because there wasn't really an internet yet. You know, it was just kind of at the beginning, and you know, this is, you know, still a couple years away from like message boards and things like that. We would hang out in the comic book store on Wednesday nights, like-minded individuals, but we all had our own opinions. We all didn't always agree, but we had a fun discussion, and we were all there because of the love of the genres, love of the comic books, love of the characters, the movies, everything we were talking about. So that's a little piece of what I'm trying to recreate on Mandovision, on the Tomcast Popcast. Remember, it's all about the love. So even when I am turning a critical eye towards something, it's done out of pure love for the content, for the saga, for everything that it's meant to me over the years. All right, so let's get into some of our news stuff. Why don't we? This is actually not fresh breaking news by any means, but I did want to talk about this. You know, they had announced over the summer, the past summer, 2020. You know, not a lot was going on. A lot of us were stuck in our homes, things like that. But it had been announced over the summer of 2020 that there were going to be sort of an expanding of the Mandalorian corner of the Star Wars universe, and with some new books that were going to be coming out. We had the Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide, and then the Mandalorian Original Novel were going to be coming out. Those books have both been canceled. Now, a lot of the scuttlebutt on the internet was, oh, they had to cancel these because everything going on with Gina Carano and the scaling back of Cara Dune and all that stuff. But that apparently is not the case. That is apparently not what's going on. It's just that since those books were announced, a lot has happened. You know, season 2 of The Mandalorian aired, and in a lot of ways, it was a huge game changer. Huge game changer. So obviously, the original novelization had to be. You know, there's going to be a conflict, is what it sounds like. That writer, the book had already been pushed because of what was happening in season 2, but now with all the plans for the other new shows, it sounds like they just decided to, like, we can't do this right now. We're gonna put this on hold, and it sort of sounds like that's the same case with the visual guide as well. It just sounds like there's gonna be more and more content, so let's hold off on that until it's more appropriate to release this, because, you know, again, we do have the Book of Boba Fett coming out at the end of the year. So let's maybe their plan is just to kind of put it all together. It just says that the statement from Del Rey. I should go ahead and just read that to you, right? It says, due to the ever-expanding world of The Mandalorian, we will no longer be publishing The Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide at this time, as the story continues to unfold on the screen. And that's basically what they said about The Mandalorian. They just inserted The Mandalorian original novel. So things that are going on with the shows that are changing the publishing of some of these books, and that's okay. We're okay with that. That's a good thing. Hopefully, we'll see these projects down the road once things are a little bit more concrete with the ever changing world of the Star Wars galaxy, of the ever changing nature of the Star Wars galaxy. But we did want to mention that, and it was funny. I recently went onto my Amazon account, and I found out that my pre-orders for those books still exist. So I don't know if Amazon didn't get the memo or not, but yeah, those won't be coming out anytime soon. So maybe I'll just go ahead and cancel it. We'll see what happens there. Or maybe I'll just be smarter, and next time I'll go and support my local independent bookseller. That would be even better. Come on, Tom, get with it. In other Star Wars news, slightly more exciting, positive stuff, nothing getting canceled. This is content coming forward. And I'll be honest, this kind of broke my brain. the other day when I saw this. When I saw this was official and it was going to happen. I can't even talk about it. I mean, all right. We all know the story of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Listen, it's fairly atrocious. Let's be perfectly honest here. We're all rational, logical people. We know it's not good. We've all sat there and watched it on YouTube, or in my case, a bootleg copy from some convention I went to in Gaithersburg, Maryland, back in 1997 or something like that. It's not great. It's not great. But one aspect, the animated portion, the story of the faithful Wookiee, the cartoon segment that introduced Boba Fett to the populace, will soon be available in April. I believe April 2nd is the day. It will be available on Disney Plus. What is happening in this world? Remember, the Star Wars Holiday Special was something that George Lucas made no secret about how much he hated it, despised it, and attempted to bury it into the deepest, darkest well he could find. He threw every copy of it he could find into the great pit of Carcoon, where it would slowly digest over 1,000 years. But apparently, in one tape, much like Boba Fett himself, made it out of that great pit of Carcoon, and now we're gonna get a portion of the Star Wars Holiday Special on Disney Plus. Now, just the animated portion, which is probably, I say this very carefully, but this is probably the highlight of the Star Wars Holiday Special. But you'll see the Ambient Phase Pulse Blaster that our Mandalorian Din Djarin has made so famous. That is the weapon that Boba Fett employs in his animated debut. So that'll be exciting to see. I can't wait. I can't wait to see all the people who haven't seen this yet and their reactions to it when it drops on April 2nd here on Disney Plus. And that's not the only blast from the past coming out that will soon be available on Disney Plus. No. The Ewok movies. The Ewok movies are coming out as well. Both of them, Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor, will both be available on Disney Plus. I don't know the last time I watched these. I don't know the last time I watched it all the way through. I want to say it was like maybe 96 or 97 when they got like a VHS release. I want to say that's right. I'm going to have to go back through my brain pan and see if it's in there, because I'm pretty sure I picked these up. Now, I could be misremembering, because I think they also put out the Ewoks cartoon, which will also be available on Disney Plus on April 2nd, and the Droids cartoon. I think they put those out on VHS roughly all at the same time. So, yeah, I think I have those in a VHS somewhere in a box, probably down in my little storage unit beneath my apartment. I'm going to have to find them and see if that's a fact or not. I will have to call my brother. I'll have to call my friends who were probably there with me in 96 or 97 when I made these purchases and see if they remember. But yeah, Caravan of Courage, Battle for Endor, the live-action Ewok movies that originally aired on ABC back in the 80s, like 84, 85, 86, somewhere around there, will now be available to watch again on Disney Plus. And I'm not going to lie, I'm actually kind of excited about this one. I have fairly fond memories of these movies. I know they are somewhat panned by the community at large, but I'm really excited by Disney's decision to put this content out and make it available for the fans to watch. Because for so long, a lot of it was kind of like suppressed as sort of like this, the forgotten child of Star Wars movies, or the forgotten Star Wars projects. And you know what? Just let's just lean into it. If we've learned one thing from The Mandalorian and from Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it's that don't shy away from some of the less popular, some of the sillier aspects of the trilogy. Like, you can lean into them, embrace them, and rewrap them and present them in a whole new way, in a whole new light, and make them so enjoyable. So I love that these are coming back, and we're gonna, at the very least, I mean, even if they don't tie into some kind of future project, we're gonna have these to watch. They're gonna be content available for us, whether they mean anything in the overall canon or if they're still sort of considered like legends of the Star Wars galaxy. I'm okay with that too. I just like the fact that the content's becoming available again. And I couldn't find anything for sure, but I'm hoping that Droids cartoon is going to be available too, because I have very fond memories of that Droids cartoon and of the Droids cereal from the back in the day. You gotta love cereal from back in the 80s, which just was basically pure sugar. And I have no qualms about that to this day. My teeth have rotted out of my head long ago, so bring it on. More sugary treats, the better. That's A-okay with me. Now, listen, we kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I'm really excited that this is something we talked about a few weeks ago. I think it was on the last episode of Bantha Tracks even. We talked about Gennady Tartakovsky's Clone Wars series, his animated Clone Wars series that was before the Dave Filoni Clone Wars cartoon. This is coming. Volumes 1 and 2 of Gennady Tartakovsky's Clone Wars series is going to be on Disney Plus in April. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch these. Again, I have these on a DVD. I think I know where the DVD's at, and I've been wanting to rewatch them, but now I'm kind of like, well, now I can just wait till April and I can just stream them all, and I won't even have to pop a disc out of my DVD player. How lazy am I? I'm too lazy to put the disc into the player. I'd rather just wait so I can hit a button on my remote and not move off the couch. That is where I've gotten. The pandemic has broken me. I no longer want to move. I have become Jabba the Hutt. The circle is now complete. Really excited about that aspect of things. And if you've not seen the Tartakovsky 2D animated series, it's so dynamic. It is so action-packed. They aren't full of tons of dialogue. I mean, they're very kinetic. There's a lot of energy in that series, and I can't wait for people to be able to rediscover it like I'm going to, or discover it for the first time, because again, these things have been long out of print, and not available for a really, really long time. I mean, I think these aired almost 20 years ago on the Cartoon Network, and they were awesome. They were so cool. They were so great. If you guys haven't seen Samurai Jack, I highly recommend watching Samurai Jack, because that's what this guy's known for before he came on to do the Star Wars project. But this Clone Wars series was fantastic as well. And this actually leads into our next news story, because the series introduced a character named Durge. And now Durge is coming back in Star Wars comic books. He's going to be in the Star Wars Bounty Hunter Wars series that we talked about on the last episode of Bantha Tracks, where we talked about how Marvel is going to do they're going to kind of chronicle Boba Fett trying to get the carbon frozen Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt, and all the bounty hunters that are going to stop at nothing to recover Han Solo and turn him into Jabba themselves for the massive bounty that Jabba had placed on Captain Solo's head. Apparently, Durge now is going to be coming back in that format. We don't know. They've not said if Durge will be the Durge that we know from the cartoon. And I should also mention that Durge played a role in the comic book as well. Durge made the jump over to the Dark Horse Comics, was part of that Clone Wars comic book series as well, for a good run. And so he's sort of going back to his home in that sense, as he stays in the Marvel Star Wars comics now, this Bounty Hunter Wars series. Again, we don't know if this will be the same Durge in that sense, that like did he play a role in the Clone Wars and he's resurfacing, or is this sort of a new take on Durge in the new canon, in the new continuity? That's sort of like the question we have to ask ourselves with Durge. I encourage y'all to look up Durge if you want to get a look at him. He's a character who has like a pretty cool looking set of armor that he wears. It's sort of a cross between a couple different things. Honestly, it's a little Mandalorian, it's a little Stormtrooper, Clone Trooper. It's a little Grievousy in his helmet too. Again, it's a great visual. This character he's like a walking arsenal. He is very much, well, I don't want to say very much, but he's pretty darn unstoppable. Hard to kill kind of guy, person. Kind of hard to kill kind of being, I should say. And what's underneath that armor? Ooh, well, when you get to see that, that's something else too. I kind of don't want to spoil the surprise if you're going to see these for the first time when you watch that animated series, or when you go into the comic book for the first time, whichever you get to first. I kind of don't want to spoil the surprise of what's underneath that armor, so we're not going to talk about that too much. But really exciting, another piece of the canon kind of coming back and being reintroduced in a new and exciting way. And yeah, I can't get enough of that. I love that this is slowly but surely happening. I'm very curious. Will this version of Durge, is he being reintroduced at the point in time that the original trilogy is going on, or will it be somebody? Will he reference back to his engagements in the Clone Wars against the Jedi? We will have to wait and see, and I'm really excited to find out what's going on there. So really, another piece of lore coming back. Oh, I should also mention that Durge, he had a really sweet legion of IG robots who rode around on swoop bikes with giant lances, I should say. Oh, and they were cool. They were super cool. And you're going to be able to see that when that animated series comes to Disney Plus. You look for it. Keep your eye out. The Gennady Tartakovsky Clone Wars series. Get ready, because it's so much freaking fun. You're going to have a blast with that. Show it to the kids. They'll love it. They're going to love it. So great. And Durge. Durge is cool. Get ready. Durge is going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see him come back. Excited for that. We talked about it. That War of the Bounty Hunters. I'm pumped. Can't wait for that comic. I am hard at work right now. I should mention, I am hard at work right now getting caught up on the Star Wars comics. So hopefully when War of the Bounty Hunter starts, I'm ready to go. Because these last couple of years when I was finishing up school at San Diego State, I definitely fell behind on my comic book reading, and I've been relentless in my pursuit of getting caught up in everything, and now I've turned my attention to the Star Wars books, and so I am trying very, very hard to get caught up on my Star Wars comics because I want to read the Bounty Hunter Wars when it comes out. I'm so excited, and now that I know Durge is coming, woo, I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Durge is back. And our last little bit of news today, we're going to stay in the world of comic books because, the solicitations for the June releases is out, and one particular image is getting a lot of attention on the internet, and, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it here. But issue 6 of Marvel's Star Wars The High Republic comic is coming out, and its cover features Jedi Master Avar Kriss riding atop a giant Rancor with her lightsaber all fired up and ready to go, and it's causing quite a stir on the internet as people are getting real fired up about an image of a Jedi riding a Rancor. It's pretty thought provoking, right? If that doesn't get you fired up to read some High Republic books, I don't know what will. But yeah, it's a really striking image. Phil Noto did the cover. Phil Noto has done some fantastic comic book covers over his storied career in the industry. But this photo's been making the rounds, and it bears mentioning here on the podcast because I did want to talk a little bit about the High Republic series, and I'm curious how many of you are checking out the High Republic so far, because I am about to finish Claudia Gray's novel, which is I think it's described as a YA novel, but it's pretty darn good. It's that don't let me being 43 fool you. It's a darn good Star Wars book, regardless of if it's for teenagers and young adult readers. It's darn good stuff. So I'm finishing that, and then yeah, I'm really enjoying the High Republic. Is what I'm trying to say. I read Charles Soule's first novel, the one that introduced us to the Jedi of this era, 100 years before the Battle for Yavin, and I really like it. I think it's a really fun, interesting period. I like that it's sort of this. We're not dealing with a threat from the Sith. We're not dealing with corrupt politicians and corrupt bureaucracy. This is sort of like the Republic that we were sort of we bought into when Obi-Wan first mentioned the days of the Old Republic. This wonderful kind of not utopian sort of society, but being close to. It's very close to. It is a golden age. It is a time of peace in the Star Wars galaxy, which is really rather rare. And the Republic seems to be doing good deeds for the people of the galaxy and things like that. And I really am enjoying this setting for the characters to be in. And I've liked the Nile, and I've liked, well, I won't say the other thing because it might be a spoiler, but we're going to stay away from spoilers. I'm very interested in doing a more of a Bantha Tracks episode sort of dedicated to the High Republic books and comics that are out so far. But yeah, you have to be careful at least I feel like I have to be very careful when I do an episode like that because I do want to keep it spoiler free. And, sometimes it's hard to have a conversation that is, well, first of all, it would be just me because I don't know anyone else who's read the books. So it's a conversation that I'm having just with you all who are so kind to be listening to me. But I am enjoying those books, and I want to put that out there right now. The Charles Soule's novel and Claudia Gray's novel, I think, have been really fantastic, and I look forward to reading the other stuff that's coming out as well. So get ready, Jedi on a Rancor. That's coming in the comic books, issue 6, I believe, and I will be reading the comic book very, very soon as well. I wanted to read those first 2 books just to kind of make sure I wasn't gonna, they plotted out the High Republic pretty well, but I didn't want to. I sometimes these cross media publications sometimes can inadvertently spoil something for you. You're like, oh, I haven't read that book yet. I don't know what they're referring to, and now I know something. So I kind of wanted to read the books first, and then the comics. And I wanted to kind of have a little stack of comics. I want to have like 4, 5, 6 comics to read so I can go through them real quick and then get a better overall opinion of the story that they're telling in the comic books as well. So we'll talk more about the High Republic series in the near future. And kind of in closing here, I think the thing I want to say about the High Republic, one of the things I'm really enjoying about it is that it has me reading Star Wars books again and being really excited about them. I've only sort of been dipping my toe into the new canon of novels. I was very heartbroken when the old canon went away, and so I kind of had to ease myself into it a little bit. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for the new stuff, but the Thrawn books that Timothy Zahn wrote kind of got me back in because I'm such a big Thrawnaholic. What's the name? What's a good name for a person addicted to Thrawn? Throniac? I don't know. We'll have to figure this out. This has got potential. We could make T-shirts. We could do a whole branding thing here for Thronophiles. For Sycothrons? Is that a thing? Help me figure this out. We're gonna workshop this. We'll do this on Twitter. We'll figure it out. We'll crack the code. But I've been leery of of kind of getting too invested in the new canon. It wasn't my cup. Like I said, heartbroken about the old stuff going away. But what can you do? That was a decision that was above my pay grade. It is what it is. But yeah, I've been a little reluctant to dive into some of the new stuff. I only recently read the first book from Chuck Wendig, the Star Wars Aftermath. I'm currently reading the second book. I can't say I'm crazy about them, but they're not bad. They're not bad. But I'm not crazy about them. Not the way that I was when I first read Heir to the Empire and those books. The original Timothy Zahn books that kind of kicked everything off. So, police cars. Hopefully that's not too distracting. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say in closing. Check out the High Republic. Let me know what you guys are thinking of that. If there's books in the new canon that you've read and I haven't, point me to the good ones. Let me know what I need to pick up next. I am reading the Thrawn books. I'm a little behind on them. I haven't closed out the first trilogy to start the next one, but I promise I will get there. I'm also reading Dune and like 3 other books at the same time. It gets a little tricky sometimes to juggle all these books I like to read. Anyways, okay, cool. This was a longer Bantha Tracks than I thought it would be. But thank you all so much for sticking with me, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation, the different aspects, all the different Star Wars news that came out this past week. So much fun stuff going on. It's always a really exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. So keep that in mind and let the Force into your heart. Force the Force into your heart and feel the dang love that we have for the Star Wars. That made no sense. I got to wrap this up because I got some more Clone Wars episodes to watch today. Again, thank you all so much for listening. My name is Tom. This is the MandoVision podcast. Reach out to us on social media at Mando_Vision on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show, mandovisiontom@gmail.com. If you are an Apple podcast, and you can spare the time, 5-star reviews are so insanely helpful. We would really, really appreciate it. And let all your friends, family members, sworn enemies, people you're in blood feuds with, let them all know about this podcast and share it to the world. That would also mean the world to me. Remember, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Pandora, Amazon Music, Amazon Audible now. You can look us up on Audible. How cool is that? Look us up on Audible. I'm really excited about that. And so more platforms, more availability. I hope more people keep discovering the show. I hope everyone enjoys the show. I thank you all so much for listening. You're so kind. You're so wonderful. A quick programming note for anyone out there, if you are also big fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you're interested in another podcast featuring me, head over to the Tomcast Popcast. We just recently wrapped up reviewing all the episodes of WandaVision, and kicking off this Friday, we will be breaking down Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we are so very, very excited for that show to come out. That's going to be 6 straight weeks. Every Friday, we're dropping a review on Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's going to be rad. Again, Tomcast Popcast. Check it out if you have the time. Otherwise, hey, stick around here for the Clone Wars content. New episode of the Clone War review is dropping on Friday. Get ready. We're racing towards the Bad Batch. Get ready. Until then, remember, there is only one way this podcast can end, and this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. I would like to see the baby.